We actually, Brad touched on the experience that he had in Finland. We also learned a lot as a team. That was our first, full completion of a prep phase together, I would say, actually, by stepping on stage. So we've altered a lot, between now and then. He kind of, because of his conditioning, because of the work that he put in going into that show, we've been able to essentially reverse diet into this weekend show. He's going to be fuller, and it wasn't that I was hesitant to push the food. We actually ate a lot of food going into that show, but it's his body environment's just different, and we've been mindful of that. I knew he was a little flat, and that's something that, I personally want to correct. So we've been working towards just keeping the food higher. And again, it's not, not egotistical just pushing the food just to push it, but his body's been handling it very well because of the conditioning that he's held, going into Finland and then through this weekend. So that's kind of the biggest learning curve that we had, was actually completing a show together, making mental notes, talking over things, because I wasn't at the show. We did a good job with pictures, but again, that's why I'm here. It's, if I can have my eyes on somebody, it helps me personally just be able to see what's going on, hour by hour, and going into this weekend. So it's going to be helpful.
And, to touch base on that, like Matt said, we kind of purposely came in a bit flat, because I knew that in order to be competitive with some of these European guys, they're bigger frame than me, they carry a lot more muscle than me. I had to kind of rely on my conditioning and my shape and most importantly, my stomach control vacuum. I knew that what might set me apart from these bigger guys is me to be able to hit a vacuum on stage. In order to do that, I needed to be a little tatter on the flat side. So, it wasn't like a Matt just screw me up. It was, kind of a game plan that we had talked about. Hey, let's play to my strengths and not try to be super full and try to play the size game with these guys. I mean, first call out, that's always, your goal. Obviously there's shows that I'm going to enter, like the Olympia. I'm not going to get first call out there, just being realistic. But, when you go to any show, really, I mean, that should be your number one goal. I'm not one of those people that have unrealistic expectations that think I'm going to win a show. I know kind of my role in bodybuilding right now, but I know that I'm also a competitive athlete. And I know that, me at my best, can be in that first call out with this lineup. And it's a great lineup. You got 4 Olympians that are in there. 2 guys that, I think should have been in the top 10 in the Olympia. Nathan was just outside at 12. And a couple other new guys that are making their pro debuts that look great. Some guys from overseas that are pretty stacked. So it's going to be a hell of a lineup. But, the ultimate goal is to get in that first call out and just fight from there. Just the love of the sport. I truly love bodybuilding. I love the craziness that it takes to be so dedicated and so on top of things 24/7. It keeps me focused and keeps me out of trouble. It's I don't know, it's just I love moving weight. That's another thing I loved about this year training with Matt was he incorporated a lot of compound movements and stuff, and it got back me like into loving training. Every day it was, let's try to beat this, let's try to beat last week's weight. All just pushing yourself, and that's what I love about bodybuilding and about this sport. So that's what keeps me going every day. We actually just kind of touched base on that last night for the first time. I try to stay focused on a singular goal as much as possible without thinking too far in advance. But obviously, you got to kind of get an idea of where you want to go. So we both kind of agreed that, we could do something early in the year or wait a little bit. It really just depends on how this rebound phase goes. And that's something that I've also lacked a lot in my career. When I worked with other coaches, they were very adamant about taking a lot of time out of the gym after, the season's over and just kind of shutting things down for a while. So I would lose months, of serious training and eating. And Matt's philosophy is a little different. It's, eating and training all out. Maybe take a couple days off to let your body recover. But, if you feel good, you feel fresh, train, take advantage of that period and try to put on some size. So who knows? I could pack on, 10 or 12 pounds, in a few months' time. And maintain decent body composition and step on stage a little sooner. So I would like to travel a little more internationally next year for sure. We talked about that. Maybe hitting some Arnolds. Like I said, I approach things from a marketing standpoint as well as a competitive standpoint too. So getting out there and getting overseas and getting some following out there is great from a marketing perspective.
And just to kind of follow up, I'm really excited to see how he does in this lineup personally, because there is some really quality guys, and he's not stood against this quality of lineup yet. And I'm not saying that the quality in Finland wasn't good. It's just different competitors. So to see how he's improved over this year, to judge against this lineup, that's going to go a long way to kind of set foot into which direction we go next. Coupled with how he responds post-show with his rebound. I really like to, like as Brad said, just really like to utilize the period following a show, a prep to utilize nutrients, kind of really push the calories, and then ease off the gas. So let your body just naturally come back up to a weight where it feels healthy at, and then kind of rest from there. But there's a lot of positive, feedback that can be gained, a lot of tissue that can be gained, just to kind of stepping foot in that direction. And then we'll kind of put more plans into effect for next season.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the goal of every year is to try to get that qualification. And, I sort of do strategically pick shows. Finland was picked. As I said, we knew it was going to be a tough lineup, but we also knew that it'd be a good marketing experience. But we also knew that, hey, there's a shot you can make top 5, and that's a couple points there. The Ferrigno, I did it in 2014, got second there. It's a hometown, show. It doesn't mean much, but, the quality of lineup the past 2 years isn't near what it was this year. So it's one of those shows where you think, hey, here's a show that I probably get a really good shot at placing top 5 at. And then all of a sudden they come out with a lineup this year and you're like, it's going to be a struggle to make top 5. So, like you said, assessing how things go this show and how I stack up comparatively to these guys, then we'll know, how much improvements need to be made towards next year. And, I like to compete. So if I got to do a marathon and do 7 shows next year, I don't really give a shit. But if he tells me to shut it down and take some more time off, then, I think I got to listen and try to make the most improvements that I can. I'd like to be in a position where I could win some of these, third tier shows like this and, maybe be a top 6 guy at the Arnold's. If I could crack top 12 at the Olympia, that'd be, an amazing feat. But you never know. You got to take everything one day at a time. You never know if an injury is going to set you aside or what other opportunities might provide themselves. I kind of answered some on the forums, kind of a similar question they had asked me. And who knows, I could be a freaking movie star in a year. I never thought I was going to be even bodybuilder less than 7 years ago. This wasn't a desire that I had, and things just fell in my lap. So I'm one of those people, I try to take advantage of opportunity. And right now my opportunity is here in bodybuilding. All right, so that concludes the this interview for 3 days out from the Ferrigno Legacy, Brad Rowe and Matt Jansen. You guys can check out the live stream through musculardevelopment.com. I think they're charging $2.99 for it, but from what I've seen from promoter Chris Mine's productions over the years, his live streams have been great, so I think it's definitely well worth the money. I want to thank Anabolic Design for their support throughout the year, and all my family and friends and everybody that's been behind me, and Matt for believing in me and pushing me this year.
I want to thank you guys for this opportunity, and thank you for the support. This is going to be a big show for both of us this weekend, and also too, take time to just, if you're at home or whatever, to watch the live stream, because this is something that it's a step in the right direction for bodybuilding. We want this content and then we get it, so take advantage of it. All right. And the show, I believe prejudging is at 3:30, which is Pacific time, so 6:30 on the East Coast. So take time to watch it, guys, and thank you guys again for the support.